What does it mean threatening somebody? Like this. I showed Jerry, the landlord, I showed her a money order from Charles Toh that he didn't hand her himself, and I showed her an envelope full of cash that he didn't hand her himself, and I told her I'm keeping these for Charles Toh in case he comes back, and she insisted that he died, and I said, well, that's why I showed them to you, because you said he died, but I don't know that he died. That's why I'm keeping them in case he comes back. And then she called the police on me. She had me removed from the apartment front tile area in front of the apartment. And then she went into the apartment or not. I don't know because I wasn't in the apartment. I was outside the fence. I don't know where Jerry was after the call to the police. But I do know now that the envelope that I had full of cash is missing, and the check for the rent, I gave that to Mitch, and it's I have a receipt here that I'm not going to keep for Mitch. I'm going to give it to him when he comes, and if he leaves it here, that's him being here as well. I just don't understand why you don't leave it alone that I'm not going to feed you. I'm not a feeder. I am the debt. And you keep thinking that I have to pay the charges, that the charges are the debt. The charges are not the debt. You pay taxes. You cannot say the charges are the debt. You cannot make everything of a payment into a tax, and you're the government. Everybody's in the government. There's still sales tax on every receipt. You don't have that deceased. So what about, well, if you had just cooperated, you wouldn't have been a police matter. You wouldn't have had to go in the back of an ambulance. All you have to do is just pay your rent. Yeah, it's not my rent. It's clearly not mine that way. Why would you call the police on a payment? If I was holding up the line at a supermarket, that is all they would do is tell me to step aside so they can help the next customer. But you're trying to remove me out of an apartment where I've been living for 13 years off and on, and I really don't afford that you're that angry. There are other threats you've had, which is, if you don't talk to me about myself, then you won't have to get out at your own expense. And that's what's wrong with it. You keep threatening me that I don't have a home at all, and I don't know how to threaten you that I am myself. If you are not myself, you belong in prison. You don't threaten me that I am myself as a threat to myself. And everything I say is against myself. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You cannot say that out loud. That is heaven saying that inside your own sick head, and if it comes out of your mouth, you belong in a prison. That's you finding that you said it out loud, and you have to go to a prison because everybody who's not yourself is not yourself. I would like to say Cops, the show on Fox and on TV. They are the ones who have made it known that everyone knows what is the Miranda rights. I heard it from high school as well. Mr. Brown's class, Crime and Criminal Justice. He says shoplifting is if you carry something out the door or on the next floor. That's shoplifting. I know what shoplifting is. Shoplifting is when you don't have God in the threatening, when God isn't really making the transaction for himself. It's when you stole something for your own low mind and you did it selfishly, and God is your witness, and you are aware of that with your own God. Not everybody knows if somebody else is shoplifting. If somebody went out with something and didn't pay the transaction, it's possible that they just don't have it paid for. Are they shoplifting? They might have been shoplifting even if they paid for it. Are you sure you want to put them in jail for that reason? Look how they fight for the arrest. You have to fight with someone that you want to go to jail with them. Not that you're going to put them in jail and you're going to stay outside of jail. Nobody really can afford that. The police have to go into jail with all the arrests they make. That's why they have trouble with shoplifters getting them into jail and prison. The shoplifters want the police to go in the jail and prison with them. That way, if it's not clear, at least you had a fight about it in the prison. God is the one who determines whether or not you have broken the law. We are not humans who are telling one another we know who broke the law. No, you have to say, witnesses myself, I need to be in jail and prison, and I need to try to bring somebody in with me, but you might go anyway. Well, you need God in the threatening with you, that he's going to put someone in jail and prison with you for a death on yourself. That's why you need to be in the jail and prison. You need a death on yourself. You need due process to get a death on yourself. It's not easy to die out of this world. I know, I've been trying.